Extending NATO Maritime Group 1 and its flagship, HMCS Halifax, recently concluded a rotation at sea with charter participation in 4 joint multinational exercises with NATO partners and allies. Commander of the group, Cmdre Peats, joins us today to discuss these exercises and their contribution to maritime task group readiness. Thank you for joining us today, sir. Can you explain to us how did these exercises help strengthen the readiness of the maritime task group to provide assistance when they're called upon?
I think the themes of this semester, and certainly since we've deployed in early January, and in particular the 4 multinational exercises, are interoperability, our readiness, our assurance, and deterrence. And just allow me to explain that. So when I talk about interoperability, what I mean is an opportunity to validate our tactics, techniques, and procedures with NATO partners and allies. It also allows us to become more familiar with how they operate, their forces, and their units. In terms of assurance and deterrence, and I talked about the Baltic Sea region earlier, but throughout Western Europe and where we operate, it's about assuring our NATO partners and allies that we're ready to respond across the spectrum of conflict, from crisis to search and rescue. And it's about deterring would-be adversaries. I can tell you that all of this is about, there's nothing that substitutes being out on the water and doing the business with NATO partners and allies.
And now, upon HMCS Halifax return, I understand that HMCS Fredericton will deploy. Can you speak to us about some of the highlights of this upcoming deployment?
I can, that's correct. Halifax is just finishing up 6.5 months deployed in the Western Europe area of operations. And HMCS Fredericton will soon take over as a standing NATO Maritime Group 1 flagship and will be operating in that same area. They'll also conduct a number of multinational joint exercises to validate their training and their tactics, techniques, and procedures. I think the highlights, the differences between Halifax's deployment and Fredericton's deployment will be the areas that we'll be visiting, and with the COVID environment possibly changing slightly, possibly allowing us to have more interaction ashore with those countries, but also the countries that we will work with at sea. We're going to have the opportunity to work with Portugal and with Spain and with the Netherlands and with Norway. And so we'll get a bit of a Mediterranean flavor as well as a northern piece. And so that combined will make Fredericton's deployment special.
Very well said, sir. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.